A very pleasant morning to all of you, my dear students. Today, we are going to start a very new chapter. Just like this new sun is rising, we are going to start respiration in plants. This is the second chapter about plants. First one was photosynthesis in plants, and the process of photosynthesis, the concept is incomplete without understanding the process of respiration. Okay, so what is respiration? Actually, respiration, my dear students, there are two things, breathing and respiration. Breathing, we are very familiar with, taking in air and exhaling is called breathing. But what is respiration? Respiration is something which goes on cellular level. Okay, tell me one thing. Uh, we all had dinner last night, so we digested it, and glucose is formed, which is stored somewhere in our body. Okay, but is that glucose energy, or glucose can produce energy? Glucose itself is energy, or glucose can produce energy? Obviously glucose can produce energy, but glucose itself is not energy. Just like money, if we take an example of money, money can buy us things, food. Actually, if we talk about like this, so money can get us food, but we can't eat money. Similarly, glucose is something which can produce energy, but it itself is not energy. Okay, sugar itself is not energy, sugar can produce energy. Okay, so the amount of energy which I am holding, which is present inside my body right now, if all of that glucose and other carbohydrates turns into energy, my whole body will light into fire immediately. Big flames, a lot of energy is there. I can work continuously like this for several hours without eating. So from where that energy will come? That is already present in my body. A human being, a normal adult human being, can live up to 1 month without eating anything. So for surviving 1 month, almost that much energy is there, and if all that energy is you know converted in the form of energy, heat energy or light energy, then what will happen? Big flames will come out of body. But we are lucky, we are not burning. Okay, we are cool, we are comfortable. Why? How? Because the body is using that carbohydrate, that glucose, very smartly and slowly, burning little bit of glucose to produce only that much energy which is needed at the moment. Okay, and this process is continuously this process is going on. The process of respiration doesn't stops, neither for us nor for plants. Okay, it goes on 24/7. It never stops, because without energy we can't live 1 second. Every second we need energy. Even when we are asleep, then also we need energy for our metabolic activities, and many things are going on inside body. Digestion is going on, breathing is going on, brain function is going on, hormonal functions are going on, body development is going on, many things are going on. Okay, so energy is needed 24/7. Okay, so this energy is produced by the process called respiration. It is a cellular process. So let us start and explore this wonderful phenomena of all the living organisms. First of all, let's see the introduction. Let me reduce this little bit. First of all, let us see introduction. This is a very beautiful image of a plant interacting with air, which I found relevant, so I pasted it here. Okay, and it says that in plants, my dear students, energy is obtained from the sun in the form of solar energy and stored in the form of glucose during photosynthesis. This much we all know, that the glucose which is formed, which is a form of chemical energy, is a conversion of solar energy, which only plants can do. Okay, this process is called photosynthesis. Okay, let's move further. The molecules produce these molecules produce energy inside the cell. Which molecules? Glucose. We are talking about glucose. Glucose produce energy inside the cell, and the process of production of energy inside the cell is known as respiration. Okay, so there is some process going on inside the cell where glucose is, you know, turned into energy to do things. Okay, and that process is called respiration. Okay, next it says, however, the sugar molecules need oxygen as a fuel for respiration to take place. Sugar molecules need oxygen as a fuel. Okay, it means cells need a constant supply of oxygen. Oxygen is, you know, life supporting gas, because we don't say this randomly. There are many reasons because why and how oxygen is a life supporting gas. One of the most prominent reason is this, that oxygen supports burning, and whenever we produce energy there is some kind of burning. Okay, let's say you have a pile of wood, okay, and you want to produce energy out of that wood. What will you do? You will burn it. You have a gallon of petrol and you want to produce mechanical energy by putting it in your bike or your car and driving it through. What will you do with that petrol? Burn it. Okay, so burning is, you know, the main way through which we can produce energy. Okay, whether it is direct or indirect, but it is mostly the energy. Whenever energy is produced, something is burning. Okay, and burning is 100% dependent on oxygen. Without oxygen nothing will burn. You can try this at home. I searched for a candle, but it was not in my house, otherwise I would have shown you. If you will simply put a candle, burn it, and cover it with any kind of container, make sure that container is not too big, otherwise it will take a lot of time. Small container, but not so small that it get burned by the flame of candle. If you will cover it, you will see that within very short span of time the candle will cease to the fire will cease to exist. Why? Because there will be no oxygen left. Until there is oxygen in that container, that will support the fire. As soon as the oxygen gets over, the fire will cease to exist. That means oxygen is very essential for burning anything. And this respiration is also a sort of burning. Okay, so oxygen is very important here. So that means we need respiration goes on continuously 24/7, and oxygen is most important, I mean essential for it. That means we need 24/7 oxygen all the time. All the cells need oxygen, isn't it? Okay, so far so good. Let's move further. When energy is produced in the cell, carbon dioxide is produced as a waste. Okay, so carbon dioxide is a harmful and must be removed from the body. Carbon dioxide, we can't, accumulate carbon dioxide in our body. It's harmful. We need to get rid of it. Okay, so oxygen we need continuously 24/7, and 24/7 in turn carbon dioxide is produced in the body, and we need to take it out of the body. So this we need to do 24/7, always, all the time. That means, so the product of energy from the food involves, so the production of energy from the food involves two major steps. Production of energy, that means we are talking about respiration. Okay, the whole process involves two major steps. First one is taking in of oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide, which is called breathing. This we have studied from childhood. Second thing is breaking down of glucose molecules to produce energy. This is called respiration. Breathing is done on organism level. Let's say I am an organism. So I have one system for breathing. I have one pair of one nose. Actually pair is one, we can consider one. And then I have one trachea, I have a pair of lungs, and this is one respiratory system. On organism level, I have only one respiratory system. Okay, I don't have several respiratory system for all of my cells. Okay, all of us have only one. So breathing is on organism level. Okay, and respiration is on cellular level. Okay, I can't do respiration intentionally, just like I am tired, I'm feeling tired, I need some energy, I have energy, I have glucose molecules in my body, but I can't, burn, take out some glucose and burn it and feel energetic. It will happen on cellular level, although we can do a few things to uh, increase our energy little bit for a short period of time, just like drinking one glass of glucon d, or that is also glucose, instant supply of glucose. Or we can uh, do some just like internal motivation. uh, let's say I am very tired and I have to go to school, but I don't want to go right now, but suddenly news comes that schools are open and all the children are coming, you all are coming, and I will get an opportunity to meet you all. Suddenly some kind of energy will come inside my body. Yes, I want to go, I am waiting for this day from so long, and yes, I want to go. So this will happen, but that is on cellular level. Okay, this much is clear. Nothing problematic till here. Respiration is on cellular level and breathing is on organism level, and to produce energy these two things are done in our body. Okay, can we move further? Okay, next thing is nose of plants. When we are talking here about plants, not about animals, and plants, we are talking about plants, and we have just now discussed that all the organisms need to do two things. First is breathing and second is respiration. So for breathing we must have nose, from where we will take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So we, all the animals, we can see the nose, but where are the noses of plants? Here are they. No, these are just for decoration purposes. These are not noses of plants. Here are they. This one I am very sure you already know what is this. Yes, you are absolutely right. This is stomata. Stomata are minute openings present in the leaves, okay, under the leaves actually. These pores are open during the day and almost closed during the night. Why? Because at night plants don't do photosynthesis, so they are almost closed at night. Okay, almost all gaseous exchange in plants takes place through stomata, because there are numerous leaves, and in small plant, big plant, all the plants have leaves and leaves have stomata, so maximum number of gaseous exchange happens with those stomata. But there is one more structure which is mostly present in big trees, okay, with trunks, and excuse me, this structure is called lenticels. Lenticels are openings present in the bark of woody stems or roots of dicotyledons flowering plants. Okay, so dicotyledons means I don't know you have read it in the previous class or not. Not so confusing. It's a very simple thing. Dicotyledons, di means two, and cotyledons means the part of seeds. All those plants which have two parts in their seed, just like grams, peas, rajma, which have two parts in the seeds, are called dicotyledons. And all those plants which have one part in the seed is called, like coconut, mango. No, mango is dicotyledons. Uh, let's say there are many, ashok tree, uh, pine tree. Okay, so there are many. We don't have to discuss it right now. But in dicotyledons flower plants, there are these types of structures in the roots also we can find there. Okay, there are large intercellular space below the pores. There are large intercellular space. The intercellular means, inter means in between, cellular means space present in between the cells. Okay, intercellular. Okay, and if it's intracellular, that means space present inside the cell. Okay, but here we are saying intercellular means space present between the cells. Okay, so intercellular, we have space just below these pores, which helps in direct exchange of gases between the internal tissues and the external environment. Okay, the bark otherwise does not allow gases to pass through it. Bark of trees, you will always see some kind of pores, cracks in all the barks, but all of them are not lenticels. Okay, and all of them will not allow gases to pass through. Only a few centimeters that crack must be there, or few millimeters, but then it is closed. Okay, but there are lenticels which are specially designed for this type of purpose. As you can see in this picture here, there is intercellular space, white spaces are present between the cells, and those space allow air to pass through it and directly, because bark, suppose one tree, cinchona tree, very long tree, okay, and the stomatas are leaves are very up, okay, and it will take a lot of time and energy to, you know, do it from transfer the oxygen from here to there, uh, and carbon dioxide from there to here. Okay, so they have developed something in between also, so that things can be done easily. So these two types of noses are in the plants. Okay, so far so good. Two types of stomata in the leaves, and on the bark of some trees and plants we have lenticels on the roots also. They are there. Okay, okay, let's move further. My dear students, this is a very beautiful scenery. Can you imagine what is there? What is the main thing which is shown in this picture? Wind. Okay, and why I am showing this? Because now we will see there are types of respiration, two types of respiration based on availability of oxygen. Okay, that's why I have listed this image. First one is aerobic respiration and second one is anaerobic respiration. Okay, so these two divisions we have made on the basis of, actually not we have made, nature have made. Okay, we have studied, nature have made. They are significantly different from each other. And what is the basis of difference between these two? Availability of oxygen. Okay, if there is more oxygen, abundance of oxygen, just like in this case. Oh my god, what happened with this image? Some technical issue. Sometimes it is flashing, you can see it. A girl is sitting there doing pranayama. Okay, and in this type of situation where abundance of oxygen is there we do aerobic respiration. Okay, just like in this case, if we sit in the courtyard or a very big open area in the morning and we do some breathing exercise, then what will happen? We have a lot of oxygen, okay, at that time. Okay, and then we have anaerobic respiration. Let's say in this condition, when we go to gym and we vigorously take out some weight and we do it, we will stop. Have you ever gone to gym or ever tried those things at your home? You will notice that while doing certain reps of those exercises, you will have to stop your breathing in order to do them more. Okay, just say you are saying doing bench press, you will stop your breathing and you will keep doing it, but that is not healthy for the body. Okay, why we will see in this class only. But oxygen is very important. If you will not provide enough oxygen, then that's why I am showing you this, that going to gym is not healthy. If you will go to gym for doing some workout, what will happen? Within a couple of months you will have very great muscles all across your body. Okay, within a couple of months you will look in the mirror and you will say that, oh my god, I am so healthy, my muscles have built up this much. But you stop going to gym for 1 hour, 1 month, and see what happens with your body. If that is your body, if that is your real body, then 1 month if 1 month someone don't do exercise, then it will simply vanish. It should not happen. If you will do running and then make those types of body, if you will do push-ups, sit-ups, pranayam, yoga, and then make those types of body, then and you stop doing those things, stop running, it will take at least a couple of years for your body to, that muscle to vanish. Why? Because that is proper muscle, and in the gym that is swelling, that is not proper muscle building. Okay, that is dangerous, harmful for our health. We should definitely not go to gym ever. Okay, if you want to do exercise, there are many forms of martial arts, many forms of other aerobic exercises where oxygen supply is abundant. That type of exercises you can do. Never try to do those exercises where oxygen supply has been cut off, just to increase the pump the body and with anaerobic respiration. Okay, Why? How? We will understand in this class. Let's move further. So what is aerobic respiration, my dear students? Aerobic respiration occurs in the presence of oxygen. This much we have understood. Okay, now let's see the technicality. In this type of respiration, one molecule of glucose, which is 6 carbon, 12 hydrogen and 6 oxygen. Okay, this is one molecule of 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen and 6 atoms of oxygen combined together to form one molecule of glucose. Okay, so one molecule of glucose is completely broken down into carbon dioxide and water, and 647 calories to be precise of energy is released. Energy is in form of calories. You must have heard somewhere how many calories these days. The concept of calorie are very on the news and hot topic everywhere. Everyone is discussing about how many calories you have burned, how many calories this thing have, how many calories that thing have. Okay, but you at your age definitely don't bother about those things, counting calories while eating. When I was at your age, I was drinking ghee in katoris, man. I never counted calories. Okay, because thinking matters, man. Thinking matters. If you will think, oh my god, I have eaten so much, I will become fat, then you will become fat. If you will think that, oh, I am young, I don't care, I have eaten some ghees and malai, and I will run, I will play, I will be okay, then you will be okay. Okay, so be okay. Just think you are okay and you will be okay. Okay, okay. So the formula says that glucose, one molecule, which is C6H12O6, and 6 molecules of oxygen, because oxygen is needed. 6 molecules of oxygen for one molecule of glucose. Then we get 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, and 647 calories of energy. To be precise, you don't need to memorize that number, but if you will write that in your exam, it will definitely give good impression, but it is not necessary. Okay, so this is the formula. You can simply write energy there in if you don't want to memorize that precise number, but this much you need to know, that the formula of glucose is C6H12O6. Okay, just keep it in your mind, it will be there forever. Just like as it is, save it like that, it is going to be with you forever, C6H12O6. Okay, and this formula is very important. Aerobic respiration, C6H12O6, one molecule of glucose, 6 molecules of oxygen will produce 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water and calorie. I don't know by this age you have studied balancing chemical equations or not. If you have studied, you can easily balance this equation, and if you have not, don't bother about it. Okay, one interesting thing, what no, I don't know it is interesting or not, you tell me. Respiration, the definition of respiration is given there, so I am also telling you. It is the process by which living things produce energy for various life processes by breaking down glucose. Full stop is left. Sorry for that. So this is the definition. It is the process by which living things produce energy for various life processes by breaking down glucose. Okay. Okay. So aerobic respiration is clear. We have glucose, we have oxygen, we made carbon dioxide, water and energy. Just for now, remember the number of calories, 674 calories. Okay. Now let's move further and see what is anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration takes place in absence of oxygen or very much lack of oxygen. Okay, in which one molecule of glucose, which is the same for here also, C6H12O6, is broken down to form ethyl alcohol. Okay, let's read it first, then we will describe. I will try to we will explore what is ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide, CO2. Okay, to form ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide, the amount of energy released in anaerobic respiration is less, 28 calories to be precise. The process of anaerobic respiration can be represented by the following equation. This is the equation of anaerobic respiration. So have you seen how much the difference from 674 to 28? Okay, this is considerably different. Okay, so anaerobic respiration produces less energy, my dear students. Why? Because glucose is not completely broken. Some glucose is wasted. How? It forms uh, ethyl alcohol. As if you will see the formula of ethyl alcohol, you will find out that two carbons, five hydrogen, one oxygen, and then one more hydrogen. That means almost six hydrogen, one oxygen, and two carbons are still together. But if you will see the formula of uh, here, you will see that carbon dioxide with two carbons. Okay, six different molecules are there, na? So two CO2. That means carbon dioxide have how many carbon atoms? One carbon atom. So there is no any compound formed here which have more than one carbon atom. Okay, so it is, that means it is completely broken. All the carbon is the main thing. Okay, all the carbon is completely broken. But here you can see no, two carbon compound is there, which is ethyl alcohol. So carbon is not completely broken. Why it is not completely broken? Because oxygen was less to make CO2. Okay, isn't it? Oxygen was not there. This is true. Oxygen was not there to make enough CO2 and enough H2O. Okay, so carbon was not completely broken. H2O, the H was here to save the carbon. Okay, and again one mistake. Here it is not 674. Here it is only 28 calories. Okay, very fancy 8. 28 calories. Okay. One more thing is that lower organisms such as bacteria and fungi respire anaerobically. Okay, lower organisms don't have sophisticated breathing system just like us. Okay, so they don't have option rather than doing respiration anaerobically, because they can't do such huge frequent exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, because they don't have that much specified structures for doing that. So that type of anaerobic respiration is also termed as fermentation in anaerobes. Okay, whenever anaerobes do respiration, anaerobic respiration especially, sometimes they can do aerobic also, but whenever they are doing anaerobic respiration, mostly they are called fermentation. Fermentation is a very important, or I will say famous term in terms of in cooking field. Okay, whenever you will cook dosa or what is that called, bhatura, they are the dough is prepared a night earlier, and then it is left for one night to ferment. If it will ferment, then it will taste better, it will cook more well, it will be nice to eat it. Okay, so that is fermentation. What happens, yeast, sometimes yeast is also added in there. Yeast is what, some kind of microbe, and what will it do there? It will live there, it will it will do respiration, it will do its job, and in turn the whole dough will be little bit acidified, and fermentation will make it fluffy. Okay, and those things. Okay, so carbon dioxide, as you can see, carbon dioxide is still formed here. Okay, but water is not formed here, so we don't need water in that, we need carbon dioxide. So that thing helps in cooking. You can ask your mom how fermentation helps in cooking, or anyone else who knows making those type of dishes. You can ask them how fermentation is helping there. Okay, so fermentation is this. Now we will see respiration in plants. So this much, the fermentation and aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration is similar for both of us, for plants also, for animals also. Okay, so this much you have understood, no problem. Let's do a recap first. We have understood that breathing and respiration, there are two things to produce energy. First is breathing, and second one is respiration. Breathing is on organism level, respiration is on cellular level. Respiration, we have, plants have two types of structures for gaseous exchange. First one is stomata, second one is lenticels. Okay. Then we understood that respiration is of two types. First is aerobic and second one is anaerobic. We understood what is the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration and how considerably there is change between the amount of energy produced. Okay. In aerobic respiration we have multiple times energy. We can produce multiple times energy than that what we can produce in anaerobic respiration. This much is clear. Okay. Now let's see respiration in plants. Firstly let me bust a myth here. Myth is that plants photosynthesize during the day and respire only at night. This is a myth. The fact is that it is not that plants photosynthesize during the day and respire at night. Respiration takes place all the times in every cell of plant, just like all the animals. In plants also, in the day photosynthesis, respiration both will go on, and in the night only respiration will go on. Then you may ask me, or this question may arise in your head, that if plant is using oxygen and producing oxygen and then again using it, then how are they helpful for us? So my dear students, the amount of oxygen which is produced in photosynthesis is much more than that what a plant uses in respiration. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So that is much more. In the day while doing photosynthesis they produce lot more oxygen than what they use in the process of respiration. Now let's see about the process of respiration in plants. So plants take in air mostly through stomata. This we have seen just now. Oxygen diffuses in each cell to oxidize the molecules of glucose and release energy. Okay. Oxygen diffuses. Diffusion means diffusion. You know na, that if you will spray some perfume here, the aroma will spread all across. This process is called diffusion. Okay. So similarly, diffuse. The gases will diffuse. Oxygen diffuse in each cell to oxidize the molecules of glucose and release energy. Oxygen will reach out to each cell and then enter those cells and oxidize their glucose, which has been carried by blood, or here in case of plant by phloem. Okay. So the process is completed in two steps. This process of oxidizing glucose and releasing energy is completed in two steps. Step 1 is there is an incomplete breakdown of glucose molecule. The process occurs in cytoplasm, and that is anaerobic respiration. And step 2 is that glucose is broken down completely with the release of carbon dioxide, water, and same amount of 674 kilocalories of energy. This entire process occurs in mitochondria. That's why mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell. Okay, you understood, na? That's why mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, so anaerobic respiration, where does anaerobic respiration takes place in plants? So it takes place in the cytoplasm. And where does aerobic respiration takes place in the plants? So it takes place in the mitochondria. Okay. Now let's see the next point. Energy released during the process of respiration is stored in the form of adenosine triphosphate. Okay. Now what is adenosine triphosphate? It is generally referred as ATP. It is the coin, energy coin of the cell. It is also called the energy coin of the cell. Okay. Let me see it is described or not. Okay. First let's see this, then I'll tell you what is ATP. During aerobic respiration, 38 ATP of, no, I will first tell you. ATP, my dear students, is adenosine triphosphate. There are two types of phosphate molecules present in plants. Okay, this is really simple, but it sounds complex. Two types. First one is adenosine diphosphate and second one is adenosine triphosphate. The only difference is that it have 3 phosphate attached to it, and it have 2 phosphate attached to it. Okay. When a third phosphate is attached in the adenosine diphosphate, energy is needed. Okay. When we will give energy and give one phosphate molecule to this, it will attach it that phosphate molecule and get ready for use, and then this will happen in mitochondria. Okay, and then this molecule will reach out to the cell where energy is needed, and there that phosphate molecule, okay, let's say we have this phosphate molecule here, so there that phosphate molecule will release itself from the where it was attached. Okay, okay, so let's say we have this molecules to phosphate, and we put some energy and attached one more phosphate to it. Okay, and here we need it. So here what we will do, we will detach this phosphate from here, and this will produce energy, release energy, which we provided to join this. If we will detach it, that energy will come out, and that energy we can use. Okay, this is the concept of ATP. Okay, I hope you understood. If you are not understanding anything regarding this whole chapter, you can ask me in the Google Classroom. I will be more than happy to know that and answer you and try to help you, and we will discuss it together. Okay, during aerobic respiration, 38 ATP molecules are produced as compared to 2 ATP molecules produced during anaerobic respiration. This is very big difference. That's why I told you never go to gym, because there is kind of respiration which you are doing is anaerobic. Instead, go for running or get training of martial arts. Okay, okay. This is because more energy is released during aerobic respiration due to oxygen. There is a lot of oxygen, hence the complete breakdown of glucose happens, and more energy is released during aerobic respiration. Okay, so now there is this much is enough. The chapter is over, but there is a lot of things which we discussed today, and I am very sure many of you are maybe confused, or actually I want to revise, so we will revise it. Okay, why will you be confused? I am confused and I want to revise. Are you also with me? Please be with me. Let's revise. Anaerobic and aerobic respiration. Difference, my dear student, this is going to come in the examination. Two types of differences are there. Main conceptual difference. We need to clarify this. Okay. First confusion comes between aerobic and anaerobic, and second confusion comes between respiration and photosynthesis. So these two things we will discuss in a not hurry, in a proper manner. And it says that anaerobic respiration, it takes place in absence of oxygen, and here we have aerobic respiration, it takes place in the presence of oxygen. In anaerobic respiration, it says that the product of the products are carbon dioxide, ethyl alcohol and energy. Okay, and here it is saying, oh, I forgot to tell you what is ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol is a type of alcohol with two carbon molecules. Okay, methyl alcohol have one carbon molecule, ethyl alcohol have two carbon molecule. Similarly, we have propyl alcohol, butyl alcohol. Okay, so many types of these things we will study in higher classes, but right now just you can remember the chemical formula and name ethyl alcohol. Okay, the products are carbon dioxide, water and energy. Here anaerobic respiration, energy released is less. Here energy released is more. Just now we saw that. Okay, glucose molecules are partially broken down, that's why energy is less, and here glucose molecules are completely broken down, that's why the full potential is unleashed. Okay, this much is clear, no confusion till here. I hope everything is clear. If we have, then the classroom is definitely open for all the confusions. Okay, now let's see what are the basic differences between photosynthesis and respiration. So here on the left hand side we have respiration, and on the RHS we have photosynthesis. Here it says food, that is glucose, is broken down, and here it is food is produced. In photosynthesis food is produced, in respiration food is broken down. In photosynthesis oxygen is given out, in respiration oxygen is taken in. Okay, just like animals, just on the level of respiration there is no difference between plants and animals. Okay, both ways In both of them, respiration, the process of respiration is exactly the same. Okay, the only difference is that plants can also do photosynthesis, we can't, but respiration is same in plants and animals. Carbon dioxide is released, and in photosynthesis carbon dioxide is taken. Energy is released in respiration, here energy is used to do photosynthesis. Okay, then uh, occurs in all parts of the plants, because uh, there is some root which is growing, there is some stem which needs to grow, some more other branch, there is some wound on the stem which need to be recovered. So all of this need what? Energy. Growth is going on, all of these need what? Energy. So on every cell, I have earlier told you this, that all the cells will continue do respiration. The cell which will stop doing respiration will be dead, is dead, that's why it has stopped doing respiration. And which will die? The If you will cut off the oxygen supply, the oxygen will uh, not get there, and then it will die. Why? Because it will not be able to do respiration, that's why it will die. Animals also die. If someone's throat is pressed, they die. Why? Because oxygen, as long as there is oxygen in their lungs, they survive. As soon as the oxygen in the lungs vanishes, extincts, the person or animal or any other organism will die, because oxygen is very important for doing respiration. Without respiration we can't live for a minute. Okay. Here occurs in all parts of the plant. It occurs only in the green parts of the plant. This we know that photosynthesis occurs in those cells where chloroplasts are present, because chloroplasts have chlorophylls, which are the only natural thing which can trap solar energy and convert it into chemical energy. Chlorophyll, which is present in chloroplast, which is available in the green leafy portion of all the plants. Okay. Light is not a prerequisite factor in respiration. It doesn't matter whether there is light or dark. Okay. But in photosynthesis, we can't do photosynthesis. Plants can't do photosynthesis without light. Light is the most prerequisite factor for photosynthesis. Okay. So by this the end comes. Very beautiful design which was earlier written the end. I don't know why it happened, but you can assume that yeah, this is the end of not of the class, of the video. And let's get in the comment section and discuss these things in complete details. Thank you very much for watching this video till here.